Like the Real Housewives of Max Verstappen up in here.
Checo's checked out.
Joe Lonyu is off the track. That steak is cooked.
I gotta say, a lot is at stake for Steak F1.
Man, even the broadcast couldn't handle that stat.
Man, my heart almost was screaming like, how can anybody be a Lewis Hamilton fan?
No.
Not on my 2024 bingo card.
Yeah, we're gonna have to create a new one now.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Lights Out Latest. My name is Marina, and I'm here with Steven, Tristan, and Jason. Today we're going to kind of wrap up what was probably one of the best seasons of F1 any of us have ever witnessed. Before we get into that, as always, this week's headlines. Start with a little trip down to Rwanda. FIA prize-giving ceremony. Thoughts? I know Steven watched most of it.
Wait, am I a complete goober? That's where they did it?
Yep.
It was in Rwanda?
Yep.
Interesting.
It was interesting.
Apparently, the government there is kind of like rich the same way like the Saudi government is rich. Where like sure the country isn't that great to visit, but the government has so much money, so all the government areas are like super nice. So that's why.
This is immediately going off topic, but does Rwanda have a Formula One track? Or no?
They're trying to get one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're planning one. They've like submitted an official proposal as of like a couple days ago to be a circuit on the F1 calendar.
Cool.
I'm sorry, Steven, can you go?
Yeah, go right ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say how we were talking about Marina, how like it felt like no one was taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And even with the presenters, like, you know, they would go up on stage and just stand there like.
It's like they haven't rehearsed. Like I saw
It's like there was no dress rehearsal.
Like there's no rehearsal. Like literally the constructors championship, the person on the mic like, oh, can we get the car off the stage now? Like they said that over the mic.
Yeah.
And then apparently the FIA president couldn't stop talking about when he was a driver, like how much he appreciated it.
Yeah.
Mohammed
bin Salman. Someone had to usher ushered him off the stage.
He was having a glory day moment.
Yeah, exactly.
What did he do? He won UAE regional rally. I know the most prestigious rally area of the world is the UAE. So him winning that was obviously
there's so many mountains and hills in the UAE.
Such an achievement. Anyways, he did win, so can't stop him for that. He did crash a Renault F1 car, you know, in the great Nelson Piquet Jr. style. So all right, he's got some street cred, so it's okay.
I like it. I'll say I thought it was a bit too much. Like I remember back to Baku. I think Baku was last year. We already raced in Baku, so there was a little bit less of an advertisement for the country. I felt like it was very much like every 5 seconds we were advertising Rwanda, which is great. I'm not going to be planning a trip to Rwanda anytime soon. Not that anybody shouldn't, but I don't plan on it. And most people that are watching this, if they want to plan a trip to somewhere like that, it's because there's going to be a race there.
Yeah.
So I think that they should have been on the calendar before they were hosting an FIA prize-giving event. That's just what I think. It did also feel, like you said, a little bit unorganized. And the production in me, the whole time was like, this is wrong, and they should have done this, and they should have done that, and then this is why are we doing this, and there's B-roll for a reason, and when we cut off stage to Tom Clarkson, that's when you should be rolling the car off and stuff like that.
Oh, they had Tom there?
Yeah.
Tom's great.
So
love Tom. He does Beyond the Good podcast. Great guy.
Little things that for me, production-wise, just weren't there, and the fact that most of the drivers didn't seem that happy. They were very bored. Right.
Yeah.
And it was a 3-hour thing, whereas in the past it's been an hour.
Yeah,
or two.
That's crazy because everybody remember when Kimi was loaded and we took the runner-up prize with Vettel.
Yeah. The other thing is, I feel like I remember in the past a lot of times it being a bunch of tables. So at least they were kind of either eating or they ate before or they ate after, or at the very least if you're sitting at a table it's easier to chat the person right next to you without disrupting the whole ceremony. Whereas this time it was a very theater-like thing.
It felt like a school presentation.
And they didn't have dinner. They didn't have dinner until after.
That's even crazier.
11:45.
Yeah.
I follow George Silverman. He is the president of ACUS, the American FIA arm, I guess you could say, that pseudo sanctions IndyCar and NASCAR and IMSA, but he's the president of it, and he posts on Twitter all the time. He's gone to multiple races, handed trophies to people, right? He is the guy, and he live tweets his whole life of working for the FIA, which is honestly super cool. So he was live tweeting this whole event. It was so funny. He doesn't even seem like the guy to live tweet. He's like he's like a little bit older. Like you look at him and be like, he probably doesn't even have Twitter. Man is ripping on the Twitter. Like he gets on there and he cannot stop typing. And honestly, he takes the photos too. Like he's legit. So I love following him. Sorry, quick plug for Mr. Silverman there.
Yeah.
Good job, Mr. Silverman.
Yeah. But yeah, for sure. And also the fact that like the way it was, again, the seating, they were so far away from each other.
Yeah.
There was Max was saying things to Oscar behind him for Oscar to tell to Charles, which I thought was so funny. Like they were
whisper
using
down the
people,
lane.
like telephone.
Yeah.
What other sport does that happen? Like,
Yeah.
there's no other sport where competitors are that close to each other.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, sure, Mahomes might sit next to legend Nick Foles and be like, yo, what's up? Like, he's not passing secrets and notes in class.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very motorsports is so unique because you're racing Lewis Hamilton. Like you know what I mean? Like,
But then there's
gotta
only
there's
like
got to be a certain
20
level of
people.
respect.
There's only 20 people. It's like
Yeah.
so small. It's impossible not to meet the other drivers.
Yeah.
you
like-
said trust too. Trust is actually a big
Yeah.
thing too
Yeah,
because you got to
trust and
trust the guy
respect.
next to you isn't gonna like spaz out and crash
I
into you
mean,
or something.
we all know
Yeah.
George already created another WhatsApp group chat without Max.
Oh,
like
Oh,
we know
100%.
Yeah.
However, Max definitely has one without George. So
wait, what do you
Max-
Team
think
George
the
versus Team
sides
Max,
are?
baby.
What do you think the sides are of all F1 drivers? Like, who's the biggest George supporter and who's the biggest Max
Lewis
supporter?
is the biggest George supporter.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah, he
The
does not like
enemy of your
Max.
enemy is your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
I
just
agree.
can't see Lewis liking George.
No. I think he's fine. George has always been a Lewis fan.
I
Yeah.
think
Okay. I can see Fernando liking George.
I think that
Yep. That's
Lando
another
is
one.
likely on George,
Yep.
more George than Max.
British bias, yep.
However, I do think that Charles and Carlos and Yuki and Liam and Franco and everybody else is on Max.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting.
If you're newer to the sport, I think you're on Max.
I think Leclerc is definitely the strongest
also-
supporter probably for Max.
Yeah. I will say this because I've heard this week and I couldn't agree more. Mention this to Christina, so I don't know if she's listening, but if she is, shout out to you.
Shout out Christina.
I hate it. I hate it so much when people will talk so highly of Senna and of Schumacher and turn around and hate Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is the Senna of 2024.
Yeah.
They race the same.
Yeah.
They race it. They have the
Schumacher
same
was
ability
not
on
clean
track.
at
Schumacher
all.
was not clean.
Yeah,
The
no.
only clean multi-world champion is Lewis, and even him, he had his moments.
You got to realize it's
Seb is not clean.
It's all recency bias
Seb
because he
was
still
horrible at
races.
Dude,
yeah.
Seb was worse than Max,
crazy.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, Seb was Max
Because
before Max.
Seb was Max before Max for all 4 of his championships.
same
Max was Max for like the first and the fourth because he didn't
I
have
don't
any
know,
crashes in
he
2022.
still like pushes people around.
That's what I'm saying. The first and the fourth. The middle two, when he was either fighting with barely anybody or fighting with Charles, he was super clean.
He would still race exactly the same today as he did in 21.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that, in my
I don't
opinion.
think he's gotten any different.
No.
That's what I'm trying to
I think
say.
Max pushes
Max-
the limits, but so did Prost, so did Senna, so
Yeah.
did
Schumacher.
Max is gonna
Schumacher.
get the love after he retires. That's
Yeah.
exactly how
sure
Schumacher
he
back
will.
then was probably 50-50. 50% of the audience hated him.
Yeah.
Because he was a jerk. You
Yeah.
know, on the track. But if you were a Ferrari fan, he's your god. You know what I mean?
A
And
lot-
unfortunately, Ferrari fans are the most numerous of like, at least at
Yeah.
the time.
A lot
you know?
like Dale.
Yeah, it's like Dale. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with Dale, where he was a jerk. Like,
Yeah.
if you get the nickname the Intimidator, like that's not a great nickname to have,
Yeah.
you know? So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, well, again, though, it's perfect for him. He filled that role.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
but then Schumacher got the love after the fact. There's also, unfortunately, with the accident and stuff like that, you know, he's like, he's
Yeah.
a very loved figure now in Formula One because people don't realize how good they had it, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you look back on Dale, it's the same thing. There's not a ton of personalities
Yeah.
in NASCAR that are like Dale, that are
Jimmy
like,
Jackson.
because everyone,
Yeah.
again, I've said this about Formula One is people are too nice to one another. I want the drivers to be mad at one another. I want there to be rivalries.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes racing really interesting. And it goes back to the first point of it's you versus them on the track. You don't have a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, something
don't
like
have
that.
a team.
You don't have a
Here's
you.
my-
It's you and your
Yeah,
car, and
that's it.
against them and
Here's
their
my
car.
question to you. Do you think there has to be a certain level of immaturity to be able to create a rivalry?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, of course.
So do
Dale
you
Earnhardt was
think-
immature,
Do
100%.
you think that a rivalry of that stature, a rivalry of Senna versus Prost,
That was a great one.
could be brought back between Lando and Max.
It'll
I
I think
don't-
there's
know
enough
if it would be-
immaturity there.
You know what the problem is it should have been Lewis and Max. Lewis just didn't have a good car going into 22, 23. It should have been the two of them. The problem is that Red Bull was too damn good.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is
Well,
like, for
Mercedes was
example,
just too damn bad.
here's a great example, and it compares exactly to Verstappen and Lewis. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt. When Jeff Gordon entered the series in, I think it was like 1993 or something, hot shot, he was winning right away, right? And Dale Earnhardt was the old guy, old timer, still winning though, and they were very comparable. It was years and years and years and years until like 98, where him and Earnhardt were racing back to back and fighting for championships. Max and Lewis had 21, obviously, which was a fantastic year, one of the best Formula 1 years ever. But then 22, 23, where it should have been continued, you know what I mean? Like, it would have been beautiful to have a couple more years of an amazing rivalry.
Yeah.
It didn't, because Max was too fast,
Yeah.
and Lewis wasn't.
Lewis-
So I think that's the
Mercedes just
problem,
shit the bed, yeah.
is Formula 1 is so technologically advanced and so technologically specific that the car matters a lot. So immaturity is a big thing, but if you don't have a fast enough car, it doesn't matter. If you're coming in fifth, you can't have a rivalry and the guy's coming in first every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you think that if now that we've had this like kind of tighter 2024, you think if in 2025 rolls around and it's Max versus one or both of the McLarens, you think a rivalry
Yes,
exists?
absolutely. Because you're
Okay.
taking food off his table.
Yeah.
There was years where there was 23. Look at 2023. Nobody could touch him. And now this year we saw on-track activity, Lando and Max, and now it's George is getting, met with Max. And there's it's
George.
once the cars get closer together and you become more competitive, immaturity leaks
Yeah.
and rivalries are formed.
think we're all
I mean,
forgetting about the red
Alan
cars.
Prost and
I was gonna
Ayrton
say,
Senna is a great
ready
example
for
because
that.
they were
Oh,
racing the
so
same
ready.
car and
Yeah.
they were capable. They were both just as capable as one another.
Yeah.
And there's, I mean,
I think
so yeah.
I think we're gonna see that with Charles and Lewis, Heike.
I do think. Okay.
Ooh, interesting.
So
okay.
Yeah.
I think that the problem F1 and more specifically teams like McLaren and Ferrari are going to face next year is a problem that they've already had this year. If your drivers are taking points off of each other, how the fuck are they going to beat Max?
Yeah, it's true.
Because no one is taking points off Max
Of
Verstappen
Max,
except
no.
for Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Unless
because you think about it, because you'll hear Fred Vasseur say, "Yeah,
Tsunoda.
next year I'm no way."
I was gonna say I knew that was coming.
well,
We shall see.
You'll hear Fred Vasseur, you'll hear Zach Brown say, "Yeah, we're expecting the McLaren." Say Zach Brown. We're expecting the Ferraris, the Mercedes, and Max to be fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was the last time they said we're expecting the Mercedes, the Ferraris, and the Red Bulls to be fast? It's been a minute.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna be the internal biggest battle of next year, in my opinion, because I do think McLaren and Ferrari are going to have the better car. But if Max can pull off those sly wins every once in a while and be consistent,
Yeah.
while the other two teams take points off of each other,
Yeah.
you're going to see it come down to the wire in favor of a certain Red Bull driver,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Now, whose heart gets broken there? Because do the teams like the constructor champion more, or do they like the drivers?
They definitely let the
championship?
driver. Well,
You know
I think
what
from
I
a
mean?
team
From a
perspective,
team
they probably
perspective,
like
the constructors,
yeah.
from a fan
Yeah.
perspective,
Yeah.
the drivers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I get a little confused. Like, well, if our guys are coming in second and third, obviously we want to win races, but if Leclerc can't win the championship, but we can destroy the constructors and win it by a couple hundred points, then that's a victory.
What's your
But that sucks for the
guarantee that you're
driver's
gonna
point of
win
view.
the constructors, though, when you have another team that's also putting up those kind
Well,
of points?
yeah, but I mean,
Potentially.
if Red Bull is going to suffer over here through not getting that constructors win, that's kind of what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
let's say you do have that absolute missile of Max who will, be contending basically as a solo team member.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, I know Jason. I don't have much faith in Yuki being as capable, but if he
I don't
was to
either.
get that seat, he'd be more capable
I was
than
gonna say,
Checo.
yeah.
Definitely.
So I don't know. That's
would
where
be
I get like not confused, but I'm curious if the teams really care about securing that drivers' championship as much as the constructors.
Well, I do think from a McLaren perspective, I feel like you care less about it now than if you want it. I feel like you're probably in a
Yes.
space now
Yeah.
where you're probably looking at it. It's like, yeah, we got one for the team, Papaya rules. I think now you can be a little more lenient with it and give a little
Yeah.
more power to Lando. Or
But then you
Oscar,
have
Here's the
but-
other thing
yeah.
for me that I go back to. How long are your drivers going to be happy winning the constructors?
Well, that is kind of what I was
Yeah.
saying.
Well,
it's like then you have the
that's
drivers
why-
involved. They're like, well,
Obviously
wait.
not.
That's why
yeah.
the teams care about the drivers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because until you win the drivers, your driver's not happy.
Yeah.
You can win the constructors 4 fucking times in a row, which
Yeah.
is pardon my French. But Lando's not going to be happy if McLaren
Yeah.
wins 4 constructors
Yeah.
in a row
Well,
because he wants the drivers.
Look what he
It
said.
doesn't matter if he keeps getting bested by Max
Yeah.
on track
Yeah.
for the drivers. I'm sorry, we didn't win the drivers, but we won the constructors. I don't respectfully. Lando's gonna be like, I don't care.
Well,
Yeah.
but then the team can't the team just turn around and be like, well, you need to win races then. Like, I mean, like, don't
enough.
let your teammate come in first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I
that's
mean,
valid.
fundamentally that's part of it, but then also it's like you also have team leaders. Like, I think Zach Brown is. I think he's a go-getter. Like, he wants to win the drivers' championship, but like Fred Vasseur, I don't know. I feel like he feels like more of a family team man. Like, I feel like he gets more of a vibe to win the constructors.
I think Fred would much rather win the constructors than the drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Fred wants to have to contest with Lewis versus Charles for a driver.
But he also has to deal with the Tifosi, which is like the Tifosi want to see a drivers' championship.
They also want to see a constructor.
They want to see both, which is unfortunately,
Yeah.
you know, like
Every team wants to see both. The
Yeah.
problem is
Yeah.
the Tifosi is so strong
They-
that it's hard to see past.
paramount,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I'll say is, too, look what Lando said on the radio after they won the constructors. He said, next year's going to be my year, too.
Yeah.
I mean-
Cowboys have been saying it for
Interesting.
years.
Well,
So-
okay. We don't have to go there. My gosh. This is the first year he said that.
I will believe it when I see it.
No, I'm just
Just
saying
like
he
Lewis-
has the
just like
idea
Lewis and
there
Ferrari.
that
I'm
he's going to
ready.
go in, going for the drivers.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
what my
ready.
point is.
Don't you think
Jason's ready.
that's what he probably said internally to the team after last year? They ended the team off the season off very strong in
In what
2023.
P4?
No, but they had a strong car. They were the only one challenging Max
Yeah.
at the end of 2023.
Yeah, but not to this level.
Yeah, I just think
Not
it's different
to
this
this
year.
level.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Especially since they won the
I-
constructors.
I think Max's biggest battle is his car, and everybody else's biggest battle is Max. So we'll see.
Max's biggest battle.
That's
is
fair,
prize.
yeah.
Yeah.
is what?
Prize.
Low.
I mean, not in winning, in the
Bringing
opposite
down the
way.
team,
Yeah.
I mean, if he wants upgrades, then yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that money is all being spent on
Unfortunately
a
true.
certain someone's crashes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, speaking of Max,
Destructors championship.
speaking of Max did his community service in Rwanda. I still haven't seen pictures of it.
I've seen a
love
couple
to see some
pictures.
videos.
Really?
Saw
They-
one
What did he
video.
do? What
Build
was
like
it?
a global cross cart.
Yeah.
He didn't build it. He went to go see it.
Well, he might have put up the money to.
No,
I don't
that,
think he did that
No?
either.
I just
He's
saw
like,
videos
"Here's the
of
car.
him.
Go."
So here's the thing: when you're at that level, does even like spending a couple hours with fans in Rwanda, not to like say Rwanda in specific, but fans anywhere, not count as community service at this point?
You would almost think so.
Yeah, because
Like,
you're
Yeah.
hounded
because
as a superstar.
I'm pretty sure that's kind of what it ended up being.
Yeah.
That was it.
He went to go see. I know that's one of the things he went to go do is see that global. Was it cross car?
Yeah.
Cross cart.
Yeah.
There's a
so,
There's a local championship like where I live of
Really?
a global cross cart. Yeah.
Sure.
ooh,
So-
that's cool.
I've been offered to like go see it, but I'm at school, so I haven't seen it yet.
That's cool.
Cool.
The other thing that I found very, very funny and heavily entertaining, Lando and Oscar playing shirt poker on the private jet on the way back from
On the
Rwanda.
PJ.
On the
Whoa.
jet with Sam Bird.
Who's on that flight this time? Damn.
They lost big time.
Oh
apparently,
no!
To Sam Bird.
I'm glad they were stuck in the plane. I don't think anybody wanted that.
Have you seen the pictures?
It's pretty.
There's
pretty good.
photos.
Yes.
Oh, of course there is.
Oh, they're so funny.
It's got to be photos.
I wonder
Well,
if I have.
I'm not looking at the
Screenshots.
photos.
There's nothing bad.
There's nothing bad about
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, just Lando shirtless.
It would not
mean,
be on the internet if it was that
Well, we
bad.
already get plenty of that with Tier 1 driver George Russell.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
I like the headline for this article. Max Verstappen collects Formula One trophy in Rwanda dash after some punishment.
I wonder how like the Rwandan. I hope that's the right way to say that.
Oh, he's wearing an AlphaTauri shirt.
The people of
Wow.
Rwanda
Ooh,
feel
new
about
team.
that. Like It's like, oh, Max Verstappen's coming for his punishment to see us. It's just kind of
Yeah,
like
it is
It's
kind
kinda
of
weird. But I mean, wouldn't you be excited? It doesn't matter why he's here.
Yeah.
He's here. So you're like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
That is
Yeah.
a shame about it, though. I mean, I'd like to say
Verstappen.
if I was in a statue like that, I would love to be giving back to the community more. Like,
Yeah.
that'd be part
Yeah.
of, like, you know, which I know he does. I'm sure he has, again, any celebrity
He's
ever has
donating
his own charity.
$125,000 to, I think it's Wings for Life.
Okay.
Whoa.
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 Wow. Yeah.
Oh, grape.
Did you say grape?
Grape.
He will be a fighter pilot.
Here you go.
Oh, no.
Well, you can see. I'm gonna cover this other crater because
No plug.
No plug. No free plug allowed. Oh my god.
Say
That's
McLaren.
wild.
Strip poker was not on the winner break. Bingo card. Oscar seems to be winning.
I can't believe they.
Well,
they,
Sam
they
Bird
got the
posted
photos
it.
out of the PJ. That's crazy.
Sam Bird posted it and said
Oh, the damn Formula E driver. Are you kidding me?
he
Sam
posted
Bird.
it and said thanks for the cash, boys. So it seems like he won.
Oh, there you go.
He got the F1 money
I
for,
can't,
on the private
He
jet.
got that funny money.
Whoa.
So
I can't believe Zach
Whoa.
Brown didn't partake
Wait,
in
is
that.
he? Sorry for me being misinformed. Is he their Formula E driver?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for
McLaren's.
McLaren, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
anyways, let's move on. We spent a lot of time talking about Rwanda. I was not expecting that. Anyways,
Yeah.
postseason test was also last weekend.
Yes.
Did you guys see the photos of Carlos
Oh
working
my
on the
God,
Williams
yes.
car?
Yeah.
Those poor mechanics deserve such a bonus. Because they repaired God knows how many cars this year. And on top of that, Carlos Sainz is now putting them to work to build a decent car.
I love it. It's awesome. I like to see him getting hands on.
Does
Yeah.
this put any hope in them being like a true middle of the pack, kind of like
I think
Aston-esque?
He's
I
so
mean,
talented.
Look
I
at
mean,
look at the times
Not
that
until
Carlos has
26.
already said.
Not until 26.
Not until 26.
James Vowles has said this over and over again. Like, literally, he said, I had two choices. One, we could spend a lot of time and money now to be decent now and decent in the future. Or two, we can abandon 2024, abandon 2025, and only focus on the new regs. And he chose the second option, to only focus on the new regs. So I think Williams, if anything, is just the same or worse next year.
I hope they're not
Interesting.
worse
Hope
for
they're not
Carlos's
worse,
sake.
For Carlos's sake. But
At least they'll be
Golly.
racing the Saubers.
especially because it is a technical 2-year deal, but it's more than likely probably going to be a 1-year deal.
I think it's a 2-year, 2
Yeah.
plus
He's
1.
gotta wait
But he
till
has an
26.
opt-out. I think it
He's
said.
gotta
after
wait.
Definitely
one.
have an opt, but I think there would be no reason for him to even go to Williams if he wasn't planning on staying at least till 26.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
26 is going to be their big year.
Exactly.
It's gonna be their year.
It's gonna be their Aston
Yeah. First we
23.
have
the
the
Cowboys
Red
every
win
year.
next year.
Sorry.
Yeah.
23, 22.
What?
What year was Aston consistent on the podium? Was that 2022 or 2023?
It was
That
last
was
year.
2023.
3. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So 2023-esque year in
Yes,
2024.
because Aston was really bad in 22.
yes, they were.
Yeah, they were not that good.
They were not that good. Yes, because that was
Quick sidetrack. Did any of you see the F1 liveried tractor by JCB?
Yes, the Aston Martin
That
You
was
tractor.
the
said it.
Aston Martin
Yeah.
sponsor. Yes.
Yeah.
So
And
I was
no
so funny.
comments.
They
The comments
turned
were
off
turned
the
off.
comments because everybody would have commented, "Wow, the 2025 car is already out."
facts. Facts.
So,
The Lance Strollmobile.
There you go. Speaking of
Man, finally something that matches talents. Holy
wow, something he can really handle.
Son, your car's a little too fast. We're gonna get you something a little slower so you can learn the
Speed it
technicalities,
down a
okay?
Speaking
That's
of
great.
testing pictures too, Esteban Ocon looked so happy.
Yeah.
He did.
Oh, I'm sure
He
He
was
also
cheesing.
has the first female race engineer,
Oh,
There you
very
go.
cool.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
over
did see
task.
that.
which is very exciting for moi. I love seeing women in the sport.
As long as
in
it's
new
not Danica
areas.
Patrick.
As long as it's not Danica Patrick. Unfortunately, listen, I support all women in the paddock except for that woman. She enrages
sucks.
me. She asks, in my opinion, very stupid questions, and every
Oh, wait.
time she's in the same room as Jensen Button or Nico Rosberg, they look like they want to kill themselves.
You should ask the question you asked me
I
yesterday.
have a question.
Yes.
All right, this was also courtesy of Christina. Would you rather Checo stays in the seat, Checo leaves Red Bull for 2025, or Danica Patrick leaves Sky?
Oh, Checo, please.
Really?
Like, we
I
can
don't even
block out
watch.
the media,
I mean, well, here's the thing.
but we
I
can't
mean,
block out who is on the
yeah,
track.
I can choose to not watch the pre-race stuff. I can choose to not. But when I want to watch what I want to watch, and it involves Checo crashing out on the first lap in a car that I think should be more competitive.
He makes it more entertaining, if anything.
He
but,
does. It's a fair point.
But as a Red Bull fan, I am
But it's also irritating.
extremely. All right, last bit of news.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, I forgot about this. Yuki said the Red Bull was very easy to adapt to.
Yeah.
Yet
Yeah,
his
he
times
did.
were actually unbelievably slow.
Really?
So,
Oh,
high
Wow.
hopes. High hopes.
the Checo
Interesting.
special.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he probably drove Checo's car.
Probably.
Explains it
More
all.
than likely.
Yeah, last bit of news. Gabriel Bortoleto is going to race under the number 5.
Red 5.
A lot of mixed
So
feelings
weird.
about this. A lot of people are not okay with it
Explain to me
because it's
why.
too close to Seb having left the sport. People don't feel like they have mentally
Oh.
recovered from Seb
My
leaving.
my thing is too. Can you have two of the same numbers?
What do you mean? Two?
Who
Well,
else is
Lando's
5?
5.
No,
Oh,
he's
no,
not.
no,
He's
he's not.
4.
He's 4.
Oh, the
Pato.
McLaren fan.
Dang.
Oh. All right.
I was thinking
He's from
Pato. I
Pato.
was thinking
Oh,
Farmer.
there you
I
go.
have Pato news. Can I drop the Pato news?
Go for Pato news.
So apparently, sorry, I'm really close.
Oh,
Apparently, he was supposed to test the Formula E and IndyCar
I did
at the
see
first
this.
Formula E race, but because of logistical challenges, he will not be doing that anymore.
Yes,
Interesting.
he posted a video in Spanish, which I watched.
Oh.
He also did the postseason test.
Apologizing.
Yeah.
He's not going to be in Mexico. He was apologizing for not being in Mexico.
Yeah, because that'll be the first race of Formula E is
Right.
Mexico.
So he
so
was
imagine
supposed to-
him, Mexico City, testing the Formula E,
Testing the Formula E car
and the
in
IndyCar.
Mexico.
They will about
Um,
the IndyCar too.
So,
I hope he stays
Wait,
in
Marina,
IndyCar.
can you speak Spanish too?
yes.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't know you were
I thought it was just
trilingual.
Portuguese.
I thought it was wow.
My speaking of Spanish is like maybe 80%
Okay.
fluent, and my reading and listening of Spanish is like 100.
Oh, okay. Understood.
So it's a lot easier understanding it with Portuguese than
Yeah.
speaking it because my Portuguese gets in the way.
Fair enough.
Going back, I just have like one comment on the number deal. I guess this is more so because I've dealt with like a lot of like, for example, like in NASCAR, Hendrick Motorsports has like the 48, the 88, the 24, and then they have like the 5, 25, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
people will come and go and fill that
Yeah.
number.
Teams own the numbers.
Yeah,
in
teams
American
own the
motorsport.
numbers, so it's not the driver affiliated
Yeah.
number. So I guess this is a little bit like, I don't really care. But I
Okay.
understand too, like, because there was a big drama llama stuff when Austin Dillon drove the 3.
Yeah.
Because it was like, well, that's Dale Earnhardt's number.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, or the 43 was Richard Petty's number, but Richard
And
Petty
now
started
they're
his
bringing
own
back the
team.
8.
I was gonna say now it's.
And now they're bringing back
17.
the 8, but again, that's Dale Jr.'s team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a little less sensitive to me, but I understand it knowing the principles of
That's-
F1. It's
Yeah.
more driver oriented.
What bothers me, actually, is that we're now going to have, in my opinion, too many world champion numbers back on the grid. Because Jack Doohan is going to race the number 7, which is Schumacher's number.
Yeah.
No. It was so
He did race under the 7 at some point.
when was that? Because he was 3 and 5 before
He also
he was
raced-
number
47.
1.
Oh, that's Mick
No,
Schumacher.
Mick
I'm
was
an idiot.
47 because it was racing. He was racing for 7. Do you remember all of that?
Michael Schumacher raced with the number 5 in Formula 1. Sebastian Vettel chose
When
the
did
same
he-
number.
number
as
2?
When did he
his
race
year.
under 7? He definitely raced under 7 at some point.
Car number 32? No.
No, he was number 3 for a while.
He was 3.
Oh, he
he
was
5.
32 to start with in Jordan. That's what it says here. For Benetton, doesn't say.
Hold on, guys.
Was he 7 at Mercedes?
He was 5 at Benetton too, actually.
Yeah.
He got
Trying to
he
get
raced
worse.
number 7 for his 7th world championship. To
Oh yeah, he was 5. I'm seeing 5 here. Live fact checking.
yeah, because Mick always said I raced the number 47 because I'm racing for the number 7.
Wow.
Fair enough, I guess.
Let me see what number it
I don't
was in
see it,
2012.
I think it was in 2004.
No, it was 2012. Michael was 7.
See? Okay. Anyways,
So at Mercedes, he was number 7.
thank you. I told you he raced number 7 this morning. Anyways,
But
Michael
that
was
was because it
Michael
was
was-
assigned to him, because that's how the numbers worked
okay.
back then.
Anyways, Michael was at some point 7.
Yes.
Seb was 5. Senna was at some point 12, which is what Kimi Antonelli is going to be racing.
Yep.
Obviously, Max is racing the number 1 again. So for me, there's too many numbers on the grid next year that mean something else to me.
Yeah. No, that's
not
valid.
that. Like, obviously, Max and 1 that one is synonymous at this point. But everybody else, those numbers belong to somebody else, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's valid. I mean, I
So
guess
that's where my line, like, if it
Interesting.
had just been 1, if Gabriel Bortoleto was just racing number 5 and everybody else had picked different numbers, it would have been a little different.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that so many of them are racing that.
Would it change if they were like, no disrespect to the guys coming in, but like if they were like, be like the next Max Verstappen, would that change anything or?
The thing is, I think Kimi reminds a lot of people of a young Max, of a young Senna.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's racing the 12 doesn't bother me as much, but I don't know.
I feel like too, I think it should be a thing like in football where it's like you ask the guy who had the number prior for their blessing.
Well, that'd be a little difficult, seeing as most of those people are very dead.
Well, that's their family,
That's true.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I just personally think that there are certain numbers in F1 that should have been retired a long time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
And that
I
applies
disagree.
even like
but-
K-Mag races the number 27.
No, he's 20.
20. No, Nico races 27. Sorry.
We're all
I
getting
always get
numbers
this too
mixed up.
I'm
confused,
so
man.
bad. Well, the problem is the damn number's so small in the freaking car.
No, the problem
Because
is
numbers have
Nico
never
and
been a
Kevin
thing in
raced
F1 till
20.
recently.
Nico and Kevin
Maybe it
raced
wasn't important.
27 and 20, and I always get the two confused. Kevin
valid.
is 20 and Nico is 27. Anyways,
Interesting.
Nico racing 27 doesn't bother me either, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's just another piece of news. People weren't too happy about it, but I also think once you see Gabriel Bortoleto bring that car and that maybe even that memory a little bit back alive, I think it'd be
Well, I
good.
think
I would have preferred for Kimi to race the number 5 and for Gabriel Bortoleto to race number 12 because that's the number he won.
Well, here's the thing
Yeah.
too. I mean, 5 is obviously a Ferrari number, but I mean, I
Yeah.
guess that's the thing too, Tristan. Like, I think they should have a thing where it's like the numbers are kind of based on the teams. Like,
Yeah.
That's my favorite
potentially.
part about IndyCar is that
Yeah.
they have it, but then you lose the brand of like, oh, this is my number, and that's only
Yeah.
recently become a thing in Formula One.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I-
is a more recent thing.
I do kind of like the concept though of like, what if like Ferrari had their numbers and they've had obviously this is if we could
Yeah,
rewrite
racing
history,
like the
Yeah.
Ferrari.
you know, and it was like in the
number.
'60s they first used the
Yeah.
number 5, and it's just that's been Ferrari's number
Like
since.
that's the best. Like Andretti is 26 to 28, so you
Yeah.
know any of those in the 20s are gonna be that. Or like AJ Foyt has 41 and 14, so you know the
Yeah.
1-4 combo is the AJ Foyt car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the coolest part.
Yeah.
So then imagine like if somebody builds like history with that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's-
you're like,
yeah, it's-
wow, I can't believe I get to race the
Yeah.
number
Well,
5 car.
I
It's
think.
just-
I
yeah.
think
But
too.
then how would you feel if, for example, like this is a really broad example, if McLaren were to sell and those historic numbers that you associate with McLaren now belong to a different team that aren't that good?
Well, the thing is,
team
though,
that
I feel
doesn't have
like
the history.
it would be different though if like the numbers had different font. Like if they bought the numbers and like the numbers became different font. Like
Yeah.
like
Because that is a big deal. I mean, in
Yeah.
NASCAR,
Well, I was thinking, yeah, exactly.
especially
Kyle
for
Busch.
I mean, Penske's a really good example because Penske they pretty much use the same numbers in IndyCar and because the 12
yeah,
they use the 12 and pretty much I think 2.
yeah.
Or, like,
It's the
Look
same font
look
too.
at
But it's
Penn
the
State.
same-
Like wearing
they
the
might not
number
be the same,
11
actually,
at
I'm not
Penn
sure.
State is a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
because
like tight end
so
or not tight
many-
end. Shoot,
So many defensive ends and
Yeah, defensive
linebackers
ends,
There you go.
have worn number 11.
I had to think about that for a
I
second.
don't know.
LeVar Arrington,
Mark
Mike
Yeah, LeVar
Parsons,
Arrington, yep.
yeah.
Who was it last year? 44 was Chop Robinson.
Yeah.
And the other
Yep.
one, not Adisa Isaac. Was it Adisa Isaac?
I think it was a decisive.
Yeah, Adisa Isaac. And then now you have
Abdul
Abdul
Carter.
Carter.
Yep.
Like, the
Yeah.
11 is a big deal at Penn
Yeah.
State.
I think
So to wear number 11, like, that's cool.
I
Yeah.
think the moral of the story is that numbers mean something to people
Yeah.
at this point. I think they've been associated with all stars with and that happens everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
the number 10 in football or in soccer is huge.
Messi.
The number 7 will never not be associated with CR7.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
eventually
So,
it goes away. Like the
eventually it
people
will go
stop
away.
following the sport. The people die. Like literally this
Yeah.
happens. And baseball has reached a point where there's so many retired numbers
Yeah.
at the most
That is
historic
very
teams
true.
that you have an all-star that nobody remembers from
Yeah.
like 19
Like
like
22 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, come on, all right, that's cool, the history, but it's not relevant. And now this upcoming player can't get their favorite
Yeah.
number.
Well, but
Yeah.
that's interesting because baseball can do it per the team. Like, I mean, the
Yeah.
team can have, like,
Yeah.
I mean, football does it too.
yeah.
Like, I don't think numbers should ever be retired.
Has F1 retired the number 17?
No. Oh, I think actually that might have been
I
it.
think that might be one of the
Yeah.
only retired numbers in F1.
Forgive me, who was number 17?
Jules Bianchi.
The last
yeah.
death in Formula
That's
One.
who I thought
Well, that's
it
valid,
was.
though. The thing I'll say is, too, with F1 and motorsports in general, I think the generation of car has something to play with it as
Yes,
well.
it was in
retired,
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, like, the bio style.
Dang.
What's crazy to me is that you would retire that one and not retire any of Ayrton's numbers.
Any of the other deaths
Yeah,
too.
see, but that's where it
Like,
is. Like,
there's an
where's the
argument-
precedent set? Kind
There's
of
an
Exactly.
argument.
That's
for
my
yeah.
point.
Why
yeah.
would you want to retire that number at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Unless we get into the triple digits here.
I think retiring numbers. I think I'm more on Jason's side with this, but it is a touchy subject. Like, you don't like part of me wants the 3 to be retired in NASCAR. Like, I
Yeah.
want that to be Dale Earnhardt, but now it's not. Austin Dillon's been racing that number for quite some years now.
Yeah.
Like
The other
people
part
will
of it-
always become irrelevant eventually. Like even me,
Yeah.
I was like a huge history nerd through elementary, middle school. But it's like, all right, you got this history site that's been here for 50 years. It's like some random house. And the house owner wants to improve their house, but they can't because of like a historical landmark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at
Yeah.
some point, it's like, dang, just let them build the nice house. Let us
Yeah.
progress as
I
a
think
I don't
society.
know. That's a
I-
little
It's a
crazy.
little bit-
That's a
I
little
think
crazy.
it also has a lot to do with who is it that is taking that number.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think if you, especially in sport, if you're going to give that number to a generational talent,
Yeah.
it means more.
Yeah.
The SEC.
For example, I would not have been upset had F1 chosen not to retire the number 17 for Jules Bianchi, but given it to Charles Leclerc. That would have been okay with
Sure,
me.
yeah.
That
However,
would have been
if
really
anyone
cool.
but Charles Leclerc had taken the number 17, I would have been
Yeah.
upset.
Well, he's pretty damn close. 16.
Well,
but-
he wanted the number 7, but he couldn't have it
Because of Kimi Räikkönen?
because of Kimi.
yeah.
And then he wanted the number, I think it was number 10, also couldn't have it.
Was that
So,
Pierre?
Pierre.
Yeah.
and so then he decided on the number 16 because 1 + 6 is 7, and he was born on the 16th of October.
There you go.
Fun fact.
See, I really do think they should just play around the fonts. Like give each driver
fonts
their
are
own
a big
font.
deal. That is a big
That's
deal.
what they've done recently. Ever
Yeah.
since it went in the regulations in 2017, like, oh, driver numbers have to be displayed prominently.
Yeah.
Teams have taken it on themselves to make driver font numbers be cool. That's
Yeah.
always been a huge thing in American
Yeah.
motorsport. Like every team has their own font. Like McLaren and IndyCar has their own font.
Yeah.
Or
That's one I
every
don't like.
NASCAR
You don't like
team has their own
McLaren's?
font.
McLaren's font, I think,
I
is so
like it.
dumb looking.
It's so
unreal.
un-American. It's such a European number font. Like,
I gotta
wow.
yeah,
I
it's
think
so
that
fucking
the
dorky.
thing is, though, if you look at each driver,
I get it, but
you know what the problem is? F1 has little loyalty. The driver fonts are a lot bigger than the team fonts. Because if you look,
I
every
agree.
driver has their own logo, their
Well,
own
that's-
symbol.
that's the
their-
other thing.
Most of their
Yeah.
logos and symbols are their
with their like merch
first and
and
last,
stuff,
like
and,
their like Max's is MV1.
Yep.
Most of, and that's all a bunch of different fonts. Like everybody has their own font
Yep.
for merch and things. The problem is that's what I'm saying. Like there's no loyalty. That
Yeah.
font does not belong to Red Bull. That logo doesn't respond to Red Bull.
Yeah.
That's Max's. Max
Yeah.
has his
Yeah.
shop. So it's like it's a little bit more individualistic
Yeah.
than it is a team thing.
Well, you know what's funny is like, because I think the legacy isn't there, so it doesn't matter so much in Formula One, the font. But like again, I hate having to keep talking about like NASCAR and stuff. But like for example, the 24 car, the way that number looks on the 24, when it did look for Jeff Gordon, how it looks for William Byron now, it looks the same.
Yeah.
And it's not just on principle for NASCAR, but you look at lower series. Like for example, when I over Thanksgiving break, I went to the Turkey Derby in Wall Stadium, New Jersey. If anyone is from the area, Brick Township. But there was a car on track that had the exact same font as the 24 looks like on the NASCAR circuit.
Yeah.
So that font is almost just as legendary as the number itself.
Yeah.
You know what I
We were
mean?
talking about this last
I was
night.
gonna bring this. Yes, me and Miranda were talking about avidly how we don't like teams like high schools and colleges that have the same logo as professional
But that's
teams.
different. Like, I mean,
It's so
like
annoying.
using like the Vikings logo or something like that.
But
Western
Broncos.
Michigan has the Broncos logo in different colors.
Yeah.
Or
What
like
are we
Georgia,
Yeah.
people would call it Green Bay.
Yeah.
And Grambling.
Grambling has the
Grambling
same as
too.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My high school was the Atlanta Falcons logo because we were the Pennsbury Falcons.
Did you change
Yeah.
the colors or same
It was
colors?
it was orange and black. Orange and black instead of black
my
and
high
red.
school-
Can't be
Correct,
doing
yeah.
that.
That's not
man.
that close. I mean, no, that's not that far off.
My high school used the Michigan State Spartans logo,
Okay.
but same color. So when
Green
anybody
and white.
wanted to buy, if anybody wanted to buy like merch for the school and the school didn't sell it, they would just buy MSU merch that only had
that's
the logo.
terrible.
See, but
That's
no
terrible.
MSU.
The NFL lets them do that, though. I remember reading something about that. Is that the NFL like?
I mean, that's good.
Yeah,
They should.
but isn't there kind of a fun element of like maybe what if you did come up with your own element and then there's like culture to the town, there's culture to your
there
team.
should be their own logo, but maybe
Exactly.
the
So many
schools just
dorks
don't have
online
the
now that can make like
resources.
digital artists and be like, here, I'll do it for
Yeah.
$30, you know,
Yeah,
and the town
exactly.
hall can vote on it and be like, here's 50 designs, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Even
agree.
students, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's finally get into. We are literally like 40 minutes.
Even
into this
Ribbons,
episode.
it's really good.
Let's finally get into kind of. I don't want to say recapping the season. I just want to kind of highlight some of our favorite moments.
Yes.
I have a couple on the sheet, but whatever y'all want to talk about.
I was reading the sheet and I think you nailed it when it came to like the biggest ones.
the
Yeah.
big five.
Yeah,
Should I
I
read out the
think
big
so.
five?
Yeah, sure. Terrific.
All right. For me, the big five were all of the Max and Lando battles
Absolutely.
on and off
During
track.
the summer.
Yep.
Lando's first win in Miami.
Yep.
Charles's win in Monaco and
Mm-hmm.
his win in Monza. Lewis's win in Silverstone and everything Papaya rules.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are all the keynotes.
That's
I mean,
Yeah.
insane.
I mean,
Hungary.
all the
was
guys that needed to
crazy.
win the key races for like sentimental value did win those races.
Yep.
I disagree.
Perez,
We're
Mexico.
missing one.
Well, that
What Max had
We're
the
missing-
Red
no.
Bull?
We're missing one. It's not one you've said.
is it American Grand Prix?
No, it's not.
I was gonna say Logan Sargent was never gonna win that race.
Not Max Belgium.
No, but you're getting closer.
Lewis got Silverstone.
You're getting so close.
Carlos at Spain?
No, I would have. That would have been a good
No,
one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But that's not the one I was thinking of.
Max.
Checo
no.
at Mexico.
No,
Alonso. I
No.
already said that. Alonso winning
No.
33.
no.
How? What are we not
Is
thinking of
it
here?
not Max? Sanford?
George at
Yep,
Silverstone?
there you go. Max
Oh.
and Sanford.
Next was gonna be.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Next was gonna be
You said
George
Belgium.
Saudi
Oh,
Arabia.
well, no,
No, no,
you
no, I
said
said
Red
Red
Bull
Bull.
ring.
Oh, I don't really care. To be completely honest, I
Fair
would.
enough.
That's Austria. George run in Austria.
Fair enough.
Not exactly
Have
my
you
fave,
seen
but-
online like people call George Osama bin Russell?
No.
Dude,
Yes.
what?
Yeah,
What?
It's
Yes.
actually
Terrible.
insane. He's not even close to being that. I don't know why the nickname stuck.
I'm
A
sorry.
global terrorist? No, I don't think he is.
The nickname stuck after like Coda a couple years ago when he like completely destroyed Carlos Sainz on lap
Oh,
one and
man.
made it like a consistent thing
Yeah,
where like 3 or
here's
4 times
the
left.
image.
Oh, that is terrible.
Oh my gosh,
That is
like
terrible.
holy crap!
What are we
Oh
doing?
my god,
Crazy.
that's insane.
There's photoshops of him with an AK. Like, oh my gosh, this is
Dude,
bad.
that's crazy.
Penn State, please do not watch this podcast.
This is really
It's
bad.
totally not being done on school property.
No.
No, totally
no,
not.
definitely not.
Definitely not.
Anyways.
Anyways,
There's a T-shirt on Etsy.
Of course there is.
Why would there
I
be?
bet it's on Redbubble too.
Oh no.
I want to hear your take, Steven, on
Yes.
papaya rules this season and whether or not you think it'll be a consistent thing going into
Yeah,
next year.
I mean, again, I think it goes back to the thing of I think they set out their goal, whether they actually did or not, to get the constructors this year. I think that definitely wasn't the plans, and so I think it was okay for them to do that this year to get the constructors out of the way.
Hey Steven, aren't you glad they didn't crash into each other?
Yes, Jason. Yes, I am.
Steven, I give you full
Had to
permission to
check.
go into that booth over there and just, sock him in the mouth.
I'm in my own booth. Like,
I'm sorry.
nobody can touch
That
me.
was literally the cringiest thing I've ever heard
I
in
love
my
it.
entire life.
Oh my god.
I still think of I'll occasionally think through to the day that steak is cooked. That's that little.
I hear it a lot because
Well,
I
it's
do
our
this
intro.
podcast, and
Yeah.
it's our
Dang.
intro. Which, by the way, will not be our intro starting January 1st of
We're gonna
next
do a new
year.
one?
New
We're doing a
intro.
new one because that is all of our clips from 2023, and we now need clips from 2024 for our
Okay.
2025 intro.
Yes.
We
But
should see. I don't know if we
numbers.
have any consistent viewers that can mention anything they remember from this year that we should
Yeah.
add to that. Like any very specific
Yeah.
moments.
If you have any specific moments,
Links
drop
in
them
the chat.
Yeah, I was
Links
gonna
in the
say,
chat.
say something in the chat.
Exactly.
No, but to answer your question, I think next year it won't be as much.
You don't think? Do you not think
think
they'll
it'll be worse.
exist? You think it'll be worse? Interesting.
Worse?
Interesting.
What do you
In
think it'll be
favor of-
worse?
in
I think it
favor of
could
who,
be.
Jason. In favor of who? Because I've heard a lot of mixed things.
Because
about this.
Oscar's developing more, and Lando is like, dang, I had my chance, but I gotta get it.
I
soon."
think you just gotta let the boys play next season. I really do.
That's what they did
but
this
I don't think
year.
they will.
I mean,
think
and then they had to come up with the orange rules or whatever. Like,
higher.
Orange rules.
I think it's going to be a lot worse to be a McLaren fan next year.
Oh no.
think it'll
Not
be more
because they're gonna
exciting.
have a no, not because they're gonna. Well, if you're a fan like I am, that would like literally not be able to have dinner during 2021 races when I was in Dubai and it was like a 6 p.m. race and I was like,
Right.
I can't eat. I'm sorry. They're
isn't
gonna
that so much more
nerf
fun? Like, what other sport do
racking.
teammates also compete against each other? And the team has an interest where they don't
right.
compete against
However,
each other.
Yeah.
Like, such
is
a good
unique to
sport.
motorsports.
here's my
yeah.
problem. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. My grandma said this before.
You know, say it again.
Oscar Piastri is Max Verstappen with no emotion.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
Without
then,
the hot-headedness.
isn't that almost a
Oh,
good thing? Because
yeah,
then he
that
just
makes
wouldn't
sense.
care.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. The problem is that he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's
There
gonna
are no,
win.
in my
He's
opinion,
just
there are
as
no
fast.
fucks given. If I had to pick a McLaren driver to win next year's World Championship, I would say Oscar over Lando.
Yeah. No, that's valid.
Funniest
That's
thing
valid.
about Oscar
So the
too.
problem with Papaya rules is who do you actually favor?
But
Because
Lando
if you
has the
favor-
speed.
If you favor Oscar, you're losing
both
Lando for
fast.
2026. If
Yeah.
you favor Lando, you're losing Oscar
Well-
for 2026. So all you can do is remain neutral, but then you run the risk of your two drivers crashing into each other in a heavy title fight and giving both titles to somebody else.
Yeah.
I would rather them figure it out among themselves. If I'm being
Even if
honest.
that means losing both titles.
How close?
Let them work them out themselves.
In 2016, when Lewis was battling Nico, how close was the third place driver to the points? Like,
Not
I
at
don't-
all.
well, that's kind of what I'm
Not at
saying.
all.
Like, but obviously we're in a different world now where they're not.
Red
McLaren's not
Bull-
going to win every single race.
Red Bull finished second in
No.
the constructors that year. I'm pretty sure Danny Ricks finished second.
Okay.
Let's see, F1 2016.
Because that's like obviously everyone references that as like there was an example of two teammates that were really fast and
Dropping
they battled
back.
hard
problem
and it ended
is-
in failure in quite a few times.
Your 2016 teams, like, either
Yeah,
Red
they
Bull
weren't
or
as strong.
Ferrari.
Yeah, it was Danny Rick. Danny Rick finished third, and he was 256, right?
Okay.
Compared
Lewis
to-
was 380.
Yeah, so it's
That's
not
over
even.
Over
Yeah.
100
That's-
points different.
That's not going to be
No.
even close to the case next year.
Because the
If-
teams are so even.
If either teams, be that both Red Bull, both Ferrari, both McLaren, both Mercedes drivers crash into each other, it's game over.
Yeah.
Those are it's so many points lost that if you have multiple double DNFs, it's over. It's game over.
Yeah.
So
Like, Lewis had 2 DNFs that year, and Nico had 1. It was a 5-point gap. Like, that one DNF in Malaysia sealed the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Even though after that point, he had almost a perfect season. Like, there's 5 races left after that. 3rd place, and then first pole. Like, literally, Lewis couldn't have done any more, and he still lost.
Yep.
yeah, they crashed into each other in Spain.
Yes.
My favorite race of that year, for sure. I wonder why. Anyways,
It's
Who knows?
because Kvyat had the fastest lap.
no, it's because
Oh.
Max won his first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh. It's almost as if he actually
And
knew
you're
that.
just a
He's
hater of
from Israel.
Penelope's real dad.
Yes, I am. Actually, speaking of which, I think Penelope and Lando have a better friendship than Max and Lando.
It feels that way.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the
That makes
videos?
sense.
Have you seen the videos?
Mm-hmm.
They're so cute.
Mm-hmm.
They're so cute, and I need them to like have an actual play date and like do something fun because it was the cutest thing. Like,
Lando, adopt Penelope. Do your thing.
like, why is this so cute?
Oh, it's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for it. Does this suit have it?
Ooh.
Hold on. Look,
Aww.
she won't let go.
I love how like she like is so actively involved and like understands like what Max does. I guess
Yeah.
you could say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My dad's a race car
Do you
driver.
remember Max talking about? Well, Max was talking about after his win in, I think it was Japan. Because I remember those white hats. He was talking about. He goes, "I'm so glad I won today because Penelope thought she was bad luck
Oh yeah.
because
yeah,
the other
yeah.
race she went to, he DNF'd like for lap 1. It was Australia. I think it was Australia.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Does-
No, that's
I
valid.
don't want to get sad, but does Kvyat, does he see her?
I think so.
Yeah.
I just don't think.
I
he's
never
not-
see it.
He's
He
not.
escaped
That's what I'm saying.
Russia.
He's not a social.
Well,
Wow.
What?
okay, well, he might be right.
He's not a social media person, and he didn't sign the letter against Russia back in 20. I think it was 2020 when that whole no, it was
conflict
not
began.
2020.
Well, it's been
2022?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2022.
But even before that, he left Russia. Like he did not live there.
No, yes,
No.
He
that's
moved
not what I'm
to
talking
Italy.
about though. He can't race FIA.
Still, I thought
Still.
Nikita Mazepin was back racing on fire.
Yes.
He's racing in the dentist class, so maybe that doesn't
The
count.
dentist class.
Yeah, LMP3. The big running joke in
Oh.
LMP3 is like most of them are gentleman drivers, which mean they pay to have their car run, and
Yeah.
it's the cheapest level of prototype. So usually the type of people that go race are doctors and dentists.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's
Yeah.
called the dentist class.
Doesn't Pato race LMP3?
No,
No.
he races the faster cars,
The
like
LMP2?
Or LMP2?
Well, DPI or Daytona prototype.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
he races the fast
Anyways.
cars.
Here's a question for you guys. Do you think that if we have as much variation in race winners next year, but key drivers don't win those key races, it's not going to be as spectacular of a season? Do you think that Lewis winning in Silverstone and Charles winning in Monaco and winning in Monza and Lando and Oscar getting their first races and Max is 17 to first in Brazil, which is almost like a home country to him, do you think those made the season? Do you think without,
Yeah.
even with variation in drivers winning, do you think without those standout moments, it won't be
I mean,
the same?
Do you think if like they won other races, just not those?
There's not those, yeah.
I think it would
No,
still.
it.
I think it
like
certainly
if Charles
helped.
still wins 3 or 4 races next year, but he doesn't win those key races.
I think next year won't matter as much. I think again, since they did this season, is kind of like they did it.
Yeah.
So next year's not gonna matter as
Yeah.
much. But I do think it helped a lot this
No,
season.
it definitely
but-
helped.
It helps,
Definitely helps.
but what's more important is if the races are entertaining. Like you
Yeah.
look back at 2017 and 18, especially 18. There's so many unentertaining races where the driver that won that weekend, you knew he was winning from practice. Like I was fully invested in Mercedes Ferrari title fight, and every weekend was just all right, who's faster this week, and whoever was fastest at FP1 would sure enough be the winner of the race. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
super boring. Even though we had different winners back and forth between Vettel and Hamilton for like the first half of the season, it was super boring.
yeah,
So
Yep.
we'll see.
Yeah, we shall
Yes,
see.
we shall.
All right, some rapid fire. I got imagine if it was like a plus minus, like you're betting, playing the odds game.
Okay.
Sergio Perez will start the season in the Red
I
Bull.
want like a
No.
percentage chance.
No, just a yes or no.
Oh wait, quick sidetrack.
Bet.
Does the phone in here have a Microsoft Teams button? The wire's not long enough, but there's a purple button with
Yeah,
the
I
Teams
saw that.
logo.
Don't-
I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's called a. Oh man, whatever the technology's called. I
It's
can't
a
remember. It's like a
fancy phone.
conference
If you-
kind of
if
like.
It's a
you
conference
got-
call.
Yeah.
yeah, if you got Teams in the phone, man, Bill Gates must have like 5 of these in his house. Like, look at that. It's a purple button. Damn. Okay, continue.
Anyways,
I'm sorry.
so it's basically just like a would you bet on it or against it?
Yeah.
That's the game. The name of the
Gotcha.
game.
Like
Okay.
if we were at the casino, I would take the odds.
Right.
Yeah.
Sergio Perez will start the season in the Red Bull.
No.
No.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I think yes, because there's too much money, but I don't think he makes it the whole year.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Once they run out of money for upgrades, then it's just
Yeah, it's like bye bye. Bottas will become the Mercedes reserve driver.
I think yes.
Nick
Yeah,
already
that-
left. And
yeah.
who replaces him?
If he's
Nobody.
not reserve, he's at least gonna have a role at Mercedes.
I think so.
that-
So he's
No,
going
he's
back to
going
the
to
very
LMP.
3,
Le Mans.
2, Le Mans.
Dentist series.
Zhou Guanyu will become Ferrari's reserve driver.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That's been rumored, but unless he brings sponsorship,
I thought
I
Arthur
don't
was
see
a
it
reserve
happening.
driver. Or am I wrong?
Arthur is a development driver
Yeah.
for
Oh,
them,
okay.
Not
not
reserve.
necessarily reserve. But both of their reserves are leaving.
Yeah.
Well, one of their
Yeah,
reserves is
Antonio
leaving.
Giovinazzi, but does he
I was gonna
even
say,
have a
one-
super license anymore?
I don't think so.
Oh, let me see.
I just don't see it.
How many points do you get for winning Le Mans?
Oh no, he's FIA Platinum. Yeah, he does not have a super license.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Then I will say yes.
I mean, so
I'm
did
gonna say yes.
all the rest didn't when he filled in 2018, right?
You can get a special, I think you get a special
Waiver kind of thing.
Yeah, you could go waiver.
Yeah. But I don't think their designated reserve should not have a super license.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're going to have another one, whether that be Arthur or somebody else. I don't know if Arthur has a super license points either, to be completely honest. Franco will get a seat next year.
I'm going to say no on that one.
I'm going to say no as well.
This can be mid-year.
There need to be more shuffle.
Unless he
Maybe
takes over.
Williams kicks out Alex Albon and he fills the role. Maybe.
What we're all forgetting is that he might get a seat in 26. There's only one more year until we have 11 teams.
That's also true, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, the question does say next year. But, yeah, I mean, that's the only situation I can really think of because, again, Albon did not have a good year.
Unless he just swoops in and takes Checo's seat out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Cheeky Checo.
If they send Isaac to a different series, like a super formula of sorts, and they have Liam and Yuki doing their thing, I wouldn't be surprised if it was an outside source that replaced him. I also wouldn't be completely surprised if Carlos was just very, very unhappy at Williams and ended up taking the drive at Red Bull midway through the season and Franco going Williams.
I can't believe he did not get the Red Bulls talk.
I don't think I think he was definitely approached this second part of the season. However, I think he said no, and the reason he said no, in my opinion, is because they didn't want him in the beginning.
Right.
Williams wanted him so bad. James Vowles was literally telling the media that they were basically going on dates. He was obsessed.
What do you
He
think
is
that's
obsessed.
like with Carlos Sainz?
I'm sure it's
obviously
really
he's-
fun.
We talked about a little bit. We
Uninterested.
talked about this a little bit before the
Before
pod,
the
didn't
pod.
we?
Yeah.
Uninterested. So they sit down and James is like, please. And he's like, no. And he's like, please.
Nah, he's just going on. It's James Vowles, Carlos Sainz going on a double date with Toto and Max.
Yes.
Photo.
Well, when Toto was trying to get Max, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. That would cause an argument. Imagine James Vowles and
Max-
Total Wolff arguing at the table.
Okay.
In front
He's
of Sainz.
mine.
All right, one more then, just for the fun of it.
Sorry.
Yes or no, Max will race at Red Bull for 26.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely.
I think
It depends on what
100%.
happens next year. I really do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that is fair, but I feel like he'll be there.
All right.
If things continue the way they've been going, I don't think he's here 26.
All right. Now, before we do, we're going to do an extended quote of the day. Before we do that, number one moment of the season from each of you.
Lando's first win.
This can be, okay, hold on, before you say it. This can be on or off track, first of all. And it can be even your reaction to something, or it was my favorite moment as I was
got one.
watching this with this or whatever.
I got one.
It could still be Lando's first win. If
Yeah, no. I mean, I could.
All right, well, Tristan, you go.
I was going to say, I'll go for it then. Australia, the second that we were all in the same room and we saw Max explode.
That was pretty.
And then we knew we had a race on our
I was
hands.
thinking about
That was a great moment.
That was
fun.
probably one of, if not the worst moment of the year.
Hey, I was.
I'm
well,
glad you were entertained watching my
It
downfall.
was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Hey, your
Seeing that
boy won the
brake disc
championship.
Turn into dust was pretty great.
Yeah.
Say it again?
Seeing that brake disc turn into
Oh,
dust.
okay.
That was probably because that was
Almost
the.
like your entire team next year.
Whoa.
This isn't
Shots
that old.
fired.
Man.
Anyways, Steven.
Yeah, I think I will probably just go Lando's first win, honestly.
It's totally
Yeah.
fair.
It's totally
Yeah.
fair. Probably one of the best moments.
Or Charles win at Monaco. That was a good one, too.
Yeah,
was a very good one.
sentimental.
Very similar.
I'd
Jason?
say Britain and Hungary were both really fun races.
Yeah.
I'd have to say Hungary because it was so crazy, stressful. Yeah, I'd say that.
Okay. I gotta say, watching my dad, who never cries, cry at Lando winning
Aw.
in Miami in the airport. I FaceTimed him, and he was watching it on his computer or his iPad, like crying.
Is that who he roots for? He roots for
No,
Lando?
he roots for Fernando if he had to pick somebody. He doesn't really have like a true like favorite.
Sure.
That was probably one of my favorites.
There you go.
Overall, what I really liked this season though.
Oh, Jason has a question.
No, continue. I'll go after you. I'm just saying.
Well, I was gonna get real sentimental, so if you have something like stupid, go ahead and say it.
I do. Shout out. One of my favorite moments is shout out to my boss at my internship. She was
this
a
isn't stupid.
huge fan, a huge Max fan.
Mm.
So whenever there was a race on, she always had it on. And even though we're at work, like she had the race on in Canada.
Absolutely.
And we were watching Canada while also technically at work. Like all the other interns are
Definitely
working.
one of the
Like
best races.
me and her are watching Canada, and I was like, oh yeah,
There you go.
great. This is sick.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
I think, well, my first one, my obvious one, is all of the really, really, really good wet racing we had this year.
Yep.
Especially from Max. Esteban Ocon said it, and shouldn't really be who I quote for this. There's plenty of better people to quote for this. But rain is still the great equalizer in F1.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many years, how much technology advances, rain is the great equalizer, and Max showed why he is currently the best on the grid. I said what I said. Lewis is washed. Fernando is Fernando. Max is currently the best driver on the grid.
You're gonna see next year
Sure. But on a more
when Alonso does the 500 and Lewis takes home the title in red. You're gonna see.
All I can think of with Jason's confidence. Have you guys ever seen that video? It's like a high school football team, and they're singing the "We Ran."
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Say what? Yeah.
Or you ever see that video? Like, I think I got my swagger back. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yikes.
But yeah, on a more sentimental note, anytime I got to banter or have fun with anyone this year, with people that weren't Max fans, because I
So all
had
of us.
fun moments with unfortunate Ferrari fans and McLaren
Like
fans,
me.
and well, I guess Tristan's just happy Max.
I'm
doesn't
just
win.
here.
Um,
My guy who I wanted to win really sucked this year,
Yeah.
so that's fine.
or my mom with Carlos Sainz, or my grandma with Lewis as well. So, that was probably the highlight of the season.
I wish we
Well,
watched more
great.
races together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
it's
we definitely
timing,
gotta get on it.
unfortunately, being
Yeah.
United States fans,
all
but
of the
like
best races, all of the ideal races for us to be watching together
So
were races
early.
where we had breaks.
Yeah.
That's
all
also
the
true.
US ones
Yeah.
is like, oh, I'm not here this weekend. So
Yeah.
frick.
Yeah.
Or it's big football weekend or something where everybody was.
well, that's ideally going in the spring because less football games and
Yeah.
such. But
Hey, UFL baby.
Does
Yeah.
this mean I'm team
Yeah.
LH44?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Your
What was-
team hashtag blessed,
Let's
which
go.
is hashtag not blessed anymore.
Hashtag
Dang.
blessed.
All right.
is this quote of the day?
Quote of the day. There are like 10 or 12.
Oh, okay.
It's almost like rapid fire. If you know it, say it.
Can't wait
All
for
right.
Tristan to get 0. Here we
They're-
go.
They're all from this year.
Okay.
Whoa.
Fucking idiots, these blokes, all of them. Not all of them, just some of them. I won't ask you to name which ones. Or then his engineer comes back saying, I won't ask you to name which ones are and aren't.
George.
Nope,
That was my guess.
you're close.
Is it Lewis?
Nope.
Well, it's
Lando?
definitely a.
Lando.
Ooh.
Bang!
Oh, wow.
Lando in Monaco.
Bang.
And I'm
Keep
pretty sure he was
tally
talking
of
about
who,
Lance
who has the
Stroll.
most. Tristan has one.
All right, Tristan has one.
One.
Fuck off. And then the engineer's response
Yuki?
was nice one.
No, that was K-Mag?
Yes.
Yes!
Let's
All
go.
right.
Oh, yeah.
That was recent.
Keep track of how many you guys get.
All
You're
right, I
one
got
each.
one.
Someone came on the radio and said, you can win this. And someone
George
else
Russell.
said, just let me drive. Yeah.
Let's go.
Dang,
All right,
2.
two.
Come on, Quote King. What are we doing?
For
know.
low speed
These are bad.
understeer, we suggest engine braking. And the driver comes back saying, no, thank you.
Alonso.
Nope.
Oh.
Lewis.
Nope.
Max.
Nope.
Then it had.
Leclerc?
Nope.
George. I think I already said
No.
Just
George.
running through the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're getting closer.
Oscar?
Nope. Same team.
Lando.
There you go.
Oh.
3.
Sounds unfair.
Yellow. And then the driver comes back saying, yeah, that's me, mate. Thanks, anyways.
Oh, no. I remember this. Wait.
Lewis.
Nope.
No.
You're close.
George.
Yeah.
We watched this.
Oh,
This is
man.
Australia. This is when he was upside down.
Yes.
Oh,
That's what I was.
yes.
Yes.
Is it not?
Upside down. No, the upside down was red flag because I thought of that too. The one was like
What was this? Was this off when he went off?
this is that was when he went off. The one where
Yeah.
he flipped is he said red, 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 red.
Yeah,
And he's like,
yeah, I
Lance
remember
Stroll coming. He's like, red, 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 red.
Yeah, but it was Australia, wasn't it? For the-
Yes,
There's
that
not
was
going to be
right,
10
yeah.
because I'm skipping a couple that I think
Yeah.
are either too obvious or not obvious enough.
Okay.
Do you want to know the margin? No, we're not interested. We know. And then the driver comes back saying that's rude, and they say sorry.
Oh, I mean, is that Carlos?
No,
That
close.
was my guess.
Charles.
Yep. Dude,
Whoa.
Steven is killing.
Dang,
what
he
happened to
is.
Jason supposed to be like?
You see,
good
I
at
know all the
this?
historical ones, not the recent ones. This is bad.
How far are we off the front, man? The engineer says 1.2 seconds to the front.
That's
Low
Lewis.
Lewis.
Yep.
I had it first. That's one.
All right.
The only person that says man like that is
I was gonna
Lewis.
say, man
I
was
knew
a giveaway.
As soon as he said that.
I think this is from last year, but I'll say it anyways. De Vries behind on an outlap, and the driver comes back saying, "What? Debris?"
A science.
Yes.
That's two.
All right. It looks like they're gonna sacrifice Leclerc.
Is that?
Zach Brown?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No.
It's a driver.
Oh, it is the driver?
What's it's McLaren?
Max?
right?
Perez.
Say it again.
Perez.
No.
I said Max.
Mm-mm.
Dang.
That has to be George.
Yep.
All right, that's three.
Dang.
Man.
All right. It's night, and the engineer comes back saying, "Yeah, I agree."
Is that Max?
Mm-mm.
Something like Oscar.
No.
Lando?
You're never gonna think of this person.
So
Is
you're
it
saying it's
Yuki?
not a
No.
current driver? Or...
It is a current driver.
Oh.
Bonnie Joe.
It's night.
Valtteri.
Nope.
We're just guessing.
Pierre?
Checo.
Nope. And nope.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Would you like a hint? No.
SD
Sure.
Bestie.
Nope.
Yeah, give us a hint.
It's Tristan's favorite driver.
Fernando Alonso.
Fernando.
Yeah.
Yay.
Wait, who gets that one?
All of you.
I
I
don't
don't
listen to the radio chatter.
care. Okay. The driver said, "You don't think." the race engineer comes back and says, "At the moment, we don't think."
Charles.
No.
No.
Science.
Yep. How many did you forget? That was the last one.
I have one.
I had 5.
Oh, by one.
By one.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's all I got. And of course, Simply Lovely.
Oh,
Of
Max
course.
Verstappen, of course.
Lando Norris.
Yeah, I was going to say Lando Norris.
All of you. You all get the
Dang.
point. Anyways, final thoughts on what was probably one of the best seasons ever.
Glad to have been a part of it.
It was fun.
Glad to have, been able to analyze it, do it pretty much every week.
Yeah.
Of course,
And
with all of you.
Absolutely.
Of course, with all of you.
And all of you in the camera,
Boom.
in the
Aw.
audience
Right
that like the
there.
video,
Very cute.
like, subscribe,
Very
comment. We
Boom.
appreciate it.
Yes.
This is the Gen Z one, and this is the normal one?
I think this
Yeah.
is the millennial one.
Millennial ones.
There's
I
like
like
a
it.
no,
It's a
because
little
then there's like there's another one too.
This one.
That one.
And this is Human Song, and this is Dadala. I'm doing soccer celebrations.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, anyways, I wish. Okay, there's one thing that I wish F1 had was
This is George Russell.
football celebrations.
Oh my God.
man, they just jump out of the
Not
car.
George
Episode
did it.
celebrations
George did
were
it.
great.
yeah.
Or one Fernando always used to do is the ears.
Yeah.
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 The-
the-
Yeah.
like-
I don't know.
or
Or Seb always
like
used
that.
to dance too. Seb with his number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
we gotta get like a
Oh,
Carl,
the Seb number one is iconic.
That is-
Yeah.
We gotta
Well,
get-
Max is doing that now too.
we gotta get like the Carl Edwards back in here. Have people
Oh, do
doing
backflips. Yeah.
Yeah.
That used to be a
Can you
thing.
imagine if someone did a backflip off the car?
That's what Carl did. Carl
Yeah,
used
he
to
did it
dun-
off-
he would so you know how in NASCAR like they'll do donuts and then go to take
Yeah,
the victory
yeah.
flag. So he'll get on his car on like kind of like the not the A post, but like the driver post there,
Yeah, yeah.
and he'll just do a backflip off of it every win he had.
That's
yeah.
awesome. I gotta
Yeah.
see somebody of that. I've never
Yeah.
seen that before. All right, I guess that's it.
We're
We're
on to
back.
Aussie, man. We're on to
We're
Aussie.
on
Yeah,
to
we're on
the
to
off-season
Well,
content.
Off-season content. We still have to do Steven's fantasy punishment for losing. We still may touch on the Senna documentary if you guys want to see that. But all of that will be on our YouTube every
We
Monday
should watch that. Yeah.
at
Yeah.
11:30 Eastern time. In the meantime, check out our socials, TikTok and Instagram at Lights Out Latest for Tech Tuesday, Wag Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Fun Fact Friday, and the occasional Man on the Street. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Peace.
Goodbye.